This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Boundary Park Alert System podcast with me, Matt Dean, and Andy Halliwell. Good morning, Andy.
It's not the morning, is it?
No, it's not. It's
well, it is. It is when people are listening.
It is when people are listening, and it was supposed to be when we were recording. So I have to apologise, first of all, to Andy for the no-show this morning. I also have to extend a sincere apology to Bin Man, who was supposed to be the guest on this week's episode, but he couldn't make the rearranged evening kickoff. And so last night I got invited to go out with my mate, but funnily enough, I didn't go because I thought I've got to be out. I've got to be up in the morning. So I ended up staying in watching the boxing. But it just ended up, I just ended up drinking all night. And not on my own, by the way. Don't worry. It's not. It's not a cry for help. It's not a crisis meeting this or anything like that. But yeah, so it kind of got a little bit out of control, and there's empty whiskey bottles and things like that kicking around. So it was. Yeah, it's not. It's yeah, exactly. Our new guest is pulling some faces that are. Yeah, you're right.
Whiskey faces.
Whiskey faces. Yeah, I'm whiskey wounded today. So my sincere apologies to Andy and to Bin Man, who we'll have back on the program. We'll have back on the program soon, I'm sure. So I did put a little message out. Who's free this evening to step in and taking on your very, very serious responsibilities as El Presidente of Oasis? You've filled the boots. Will Holdaway, thank you very much for stepping in at this late notice.
My pleasure.
We've done.
Bin Man is absolute quality. So I'm not going to try and replace the Bin Man. I'm just going to try and fill a little bit of the hole that Bin Man leaves.
I know, and I'm gutted because he's a great lad and he would have been a great guest. And he was down at Braintree yesterday, and he did have a story about the coach breaking down and all that kind of stuff. However, you two were both at the game yesterday, weren't you? So we're in perfectly good hands in that respect. So let's move on from my faux pas, and let's get into the business, the regular business of talking about Latics winning league matches.
Who's starting?
Fill your boots, lads.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, there was I was driving yesterday, but I went to the pub for a Coca-Cola after the game. And the atmosphere was subdued among the Oasis faithful and the other Latic fans who made it to the pub, and it was subdued because it's so routine to win a league game with a goal in each half, no mucking about, no dramatic comebacks, no sendings off, there should have been one yesterday, but we'll get to that. And it was just, but the way it was received was just everybody is just really kind of, tick that one off. Next. Who's next? Let's go York City.
Was your experience similar to that, Andy? You were very wet after the game, I believe.
Oh my God! I mean, I'll tell you what my, we'll talk about the game in a minute, but I'll tell you my memory yesterday, or the thing that was most vividly I was aware of was I've also had, given that this is now 6:30 in the evening we're recording this, I've had a right skinful of beers today, so I might be a bit lucid now instead of in the morning. I have had enough of the fucking shit places we have to go to in this league.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was what you were.
I am now at the end of my tether. I have been to Oxford City, to Dorking, to Bromley twice, and yesterday just took the absolute biscuit. It was the most allotment of allotments. It wasn't even a sports centre, a leisure centre, a college. It wasn't even that good. As we got in, I went with my 76-year-old mother who's down for Christmas and my eldest 7-year-old son. So I've got two ends of the spectrum to look after. Firstly, you needed to hike from whatever station you decided to get off at, because it was an absolute mile away from the station, the ground. You're hiking through muddy fields and car parks, and I'm already had enough of it. Then when you get there, obviously it's an open end. Thankfully, it wasn't as cold as Braintree Park can be. But when the heavens opened and the wind was right in your face, and the three of us were literally soaked to the bone, like every layer of clothing was completely wet through. And so you felt the chill. And I have had enough of this league now. I'm not sure after yesterday that I could bear the thought over the summer of another year in this division. So I'm absolutely now at the point where we've got to get out of it.
You say that, but I'm more inclined to offer some respect to these places. They're not expecting Oldham Athletic. They're not, that ground was not built for Oldham Athletic away fans. But how they looked after us was absolutely brilliant yesterday, I thought. They had a beer tent out the back, which they don't normally have. And it was, the bar was well staffed, everything moved. People could go and dry off in there at half time. The catering was decent. I've had worse football experiences in bigger grounds. Put it that way.
Yeah, but I'm not arguing with any of that. I think you're probably right. And even the pub that was over the road from the ground was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. So
they had prepared. They were expecting a bumper crowd, and they got one.
Yeah, well, exactly, my mum worked out yesterday for the benefit of my nephew that we had 38% of the attendance was Latics fans yesterday. So I'm considering how far. I mean, you just described quite eloquently there, using all your big words, Andy, how much you disliked the experience. But at least you didn't have to travel from Oldham. So there's that, isn't there?
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's not a bad journey from Oldham. That is, again, it's. I mean, you think it's a Southern London game, but it's, it's 2 minutes off the M11. Maybe not in one of the lower house coaches, but it's
certainly not yesterday anyway.
Not yesterday, yeah.
It was well over 2 hours door to door for me from West London all the way into Essex. It was a right schlep. And when you wet and cold, but it was just that the rickety stands and the view. You might as well be at the Butcher's Arms, Royalston. It was pretty much the same as that. But like you say, I'm not knocking them, but I'm getting to the end of it now with going to places like that, because it is not enjoyable. There's no elevation. You've got my eldest lad enjoyed himself yesterday, thankfully, but you'd like him to be able to see the game and get a seat, and you just we need to get in the League Two. In fact, scrap that. We need to go straight through League Two to League One, because there are plenty of those grounds we went to yesterday in League Two, sadly. So we need to go straight through that. But anyway, should we talk about the game?
Yeah, we can talk about the game. I mean, you referenced the weather before. I mean, you could see it. You could see the wind blowing the rain. Like it did look pretty poor. It wasn't a great pitch, was it? Probably
it was.
The pitch, the weather. The weather. Right. Yeah, it wasn't a great surface, was it? Probably the worst surface we've played on this season. I'd say. Yeah, so it was never sort of like set up to be a festival of football, like some sort of Brazilian showcase, or was it? It was always just going to be a difficult afternoon, take the points, go home. So it was that kind of performance, wasn't it? I think pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, if I just pull out a couple of little bits though. I'm telling you now, Sam Clucas is a Rolls Royce of a footballer for this league. He was absolutely super. Without doing anything completely spectacular yesterday, he dictated the play. It was like when Sheridan arrived. When he put his foot on the ball and he just passed the ball forwards, more often forwards than backwards or sideways. Clucas was the same. he received the ball, he looked forward, or he'd pass it around the corner first touch. He very rarely went back or sideways, only on an odd occasion when someone was closing him down. I think I counted he gave the ball away twice. 2 times that I noticed where he gave the ball away. He must have touched the ball 100 times. He was absolutely imperious in the middle, way better than anyone else. And what he therefore did for Conlon and Lundstrom was just like give them someone in between them, really, who they could rely upon to dictate the play. And it was so we dictated that game without getting out of second gear. Didn't think we were going to concede a goal all game. I mean, they had a couple of chances. You could have argued they had a penalty.
Yeah, apart from when that lad went through and Regan Ogle tackled him brilliantly right at the last minute. Correct?
Except it wasn't a rugby league game.
What was it like? That was down your end, wasn't it? I think in the first half. What did it look like?
It was clear as day a penalty. It was a penalty and sending off straight up. Like we were 1-0 up at the time. I think we still would have won the game with 10 men, maybe by the same score, maybe by 3-1 or something like that. But that was
the bigger issue would have been the fact that Regan Ogle wouldn't be available against York, but he is, thankfully. So yeah, we got away with that one, didn't we?
We did. So you got a better look at that, but they didn't. Like I said, for much of the rest of the game, they didn't look threatening at all. We were quite comfortable. I thought Will Sutton had a great game in the middle. I thought it was really good. Won loads of headers, looked really comfortable. So that's great to see, because I was getting a bit worried when I've seen Will Sutton come in earlier parts of the season. He looked a bit lost at Maidenhead away earlier on in the season. I was getting a bit worried that he might not make the cut, if you see what I mean. He might be released at the end of the year. But I thought yesterday's performance certainly showed him up as a fantastically good understudy to everybody else who's missing. In many ways, if you think about Sean Hobson's passing, I maybe even nudge Will Sutton in front of Sean Hobson, definitely behind Raglan, obviously. So, I thought he'd play well. I thought everyone was great. Stones was brilliant. Loads of muscle, niggling people, nudging them, pushing them out of the way. Looked troublesome all day. James Norwood is absolutely fired up. Mickey Mellon has done, as we've said for weeks now, Mickey Mellon's done a superb job on James Norwood to get him exactly where he needs to be, focused and great finish from him. So yeah, long may it continue.
And celebrate good times. Come on, he was celebrating. He gave his arms a bit of a pump to the away end. Yeah. Wow, which has got an absolute storm online, obviously.
Well, he mimicked the celebration that he did during the week, not last week, the week before, I think it was, when he was they visited a school or something, and Norwood had bullied all the 6-year-olds out of the way and got the winner. he did exactly that celebration.
Yeah. No, it was great to see.
He'd been practicing, obviously, and he knew it was coming.
Well, I mean, what's great about that is that Mellon has got him in a place where his head's in the right place. He's focused. His mind's on it. He feels part of the team. He knows he's got players around him that can contribute or are on his same wavelength. He's a happy boy for the first time, and I think that probably is. James Norwood is a happy boy for the first time that he's been at the club. And long may it continue, because the concern is his contract is up at the end of the year. We have got an option, but I don't know whether we take it on $5,000 a week. So I'm hoping that he knuckles down between now and the end of the season, and then he gives the owners and the management a real decision to make on what will be a 36-year-old going into the following season. So yeah, I just thought it was really, really great professional performance, and we didn't look troubled at all. I never worried at any point that we were going to lose that game. As soon as it started, I thought we're going to win this.
With Norwood, like, just honestly, my opinion is I want more from a 36-year-old. Not just like being a brilliant player. I mean, at times when he's been at the club, he is barely disguised his disrespect for some of the other players that he's been playing with. I mean, I think he respects everyone now in the club. I think Mickey Mellon's whatever Mickey Mellon has said to him, like during the Nando's thing, has really brought the best out of James Norwood. But he has to be a completely different character. He has to be a proper leader, in the manner of Klukas. In the manner of some of the experienced players that we've had over the years. Sheridan, say, he's got to bring. The players that are around him are not. They're not ever going to achieve the things in the game that he's achieved, but he can help them be the best that they can be.
I think that's
what him for $5,000 a week.
I think that's a great point. I think only a true leader could have observed that, and I think that's why you observed it, Will, as the president. You have all those qualities, don't you? So it was. But you're absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on. Like, that is what you expect from your mature players like that, and he does have to be.
It's definitely what you'd expect from $5,000 a week.
Yeah, definitely. And he obviously wasn't doing it. And obviously he was sold a door done under Unsworth when he came to the club. He didn't realise that he was the only good player at the club at the time. I know that's been a bit harsh, but there weren't that many more who have survived since then. But yeah, you're right. And they've done a great job in elevating the squad to a decent standard around him. And yeah, I mean, looking at the form that we're in and those 2 games in hand. Go on, you got your finger up, Andy?
I've got the form tables up. I like to have a look at the form tables. Last 4, only one team in the league with 100% record. You know who it is. Last 6, top of the league, 5 wins and a draw, 16 points. Last 8, top of the league, 20 points. Last 10, top of the league, 23 points. Last 12, top of the league, 29 points. Honestly, we're going to win this if we can keep Klukas and Stones.
Yeah.
I think we might win it without them. Did the Klukas' going rumour come from a hot mic?
I believe so. I believe Uncle Dickhead was onto it as well, wasn't he? On social media. I think Roy. It's interesting.
You mean Barry was onto it?
Yeah. He tunes into everything every week. Hi, Barry. You all right? He tunes into everything every week.
Cheers, Barry.
So he was onto it. I mean, last week's fan guest was a bit critical of Roy. And I tend to side on the position of, Roy's like Latics royalty and he can kind of do no wrong. But what he probably shouldn't be doing is gobbing off on the mic about the fact that, Klukas could technically leave in January, because everybody knows that he's signed a contract to the end of the season. And so therefore there should be no reason why he should be leaving in January. And the fact that therefore he mentions that he could potentially leave in January leads everyone to conclude that he could well have a clause in the contract.
Or somebody's in.
A combination of the two. I think, you probably conclude that, bearing in mind, this lad played 30-odd games in the Championship for Rotherham last year. He came to us to keep fit and seems to be enjoying himself, to be fair. He's full of smiles and getting involved with it. And hopefully that means something at the end of the day, because if he could stay, I guess Mickey Mellon's job is to convince the lad to stay with us to the end of the season, get a promotion. Maybe they can afford to give him some more money next year in League Two, because we'll have more budget to play with. And some of the expensive contracts that we've got, Joe Nuttall, for example, once they're up at the end of the year. Oh, we're still paying part of Nuttall and Willoughby's wages at Chester. So you've got to bear in mind that we're burning a lot of money on signings from seasons before. So, which I guess is natural to a certain degree, because some players will never come off. But we've got quite a lot of budget tied up in certain players. So if maybe Mickey Mellon can convince Klukas to stay, and then next season he can be involved in a team that has got the top end of League Two, and they can pay him more money, then that's up to Mickey Mellon to try and do. But if, let's say, a League One club comes in for Klukas and offers him 3 times the amount of money we can presently afford him, you couldn't really blame the lad for going when he's age 34,
Absolutely
could
not.
you? You know,
Absolutely
so
not.
he's got maybe 4 years at the sort of lower league professional level left. He's got to maximise income, so I kind of understand that. And listen, when I watched him yesterday, I'm not talking about him going to Shrewsbury or Cambridge or Port Vale. I'm talking about that lad being good enough to play for Birmingham.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He can play. He's a proper player. So we've got to do everything we can to keep holding him, haven't we? Really?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I suppose if it's hard for. I mean, they're professionals. They've got their decisions to make as professionals, like you say. End of career, take as much money as you can possibly get to set you up for as many years as you're going to be retired from playing. But I think if I was to, as a fan, the appeal surely would be it's 33 years, 7 months, and 11 days today since this club was promoted.
Is it that long? Is it?
It is that long. So
virtually as long as it's been since Clucas was born. I thought you know, virtually.
I'm getting
but he has a chance to make football history. He has a chance to be a part of the story of turning round one of the least successful football clubs that's ever existed.
Right.
What an honour.
Sam Clucas was born on the 25th of September 1990.
Right.
All right, so he was 1 and a bit then.
Well, when we got promoted, it was May 91. It wasn't even 1.
No.
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, and we can just literally say that, like Sam, like literally as long as you've been alive, that's how long it's been since we had a promotion. So yeah, I mean, we're all football romantics, so we hope that I say we as in the three of us and plenty of people listening, and hopefully it isn't lost on players like him, and he wants to stick around. And I think once you become part, and it's like you were saying, Andy, about Conlon and Lundstrom playing, once you become an integral part of a team that is winning every week, that is in a title race, I mean, is he? You know, he's not necessarily going to go to Birmingham or somebody else who's in a title race. You know, I think professionally, I'd like to think that he would like to finish what he started now at Latics and take, you know. But like you said, it just depends on what offers come in, and I guess also what Latics can offer in terms of financial package for him as well. So,
promotion bonus, something like we'll offer you a contract next year worth X amount, you know, on top of this. I don't know. I'm sure
they will. I'm sure that's the way they'll be thinking. They'll obviously be planning for next year. I mean, the reality is they'll be planning for next year in the EFL, and they'll be planning for next year in the National League. So that's the way that they're going to have to be doing it, because absolutely no guarantees. We are the team to beat in terms of form at the minute. If we'd won our 2 games in hand, we'd be top of the league. We'd have a clear point, I think, a point difference.
Yeah.
So, you know, we are, the fact that we're 5th is a bit of it's a bit of an illusion, really.
Position, isn't it?
Yeah, but well, of course we have to win those 2 games in hand, but we have to beat York. Beating York it's absolutely massive, because it gives us that opportunity to close that gap without the games in hand. It's just huge game. Are you up, Andy? Did you say, or you're not? Are you? I don't think
I'm not. It's 5:30 kick on Boxing Day. I've got everyone down here in London.
At least you better watch it though.
Oh, all of us right in front of the TV. Full kits on. Father Christmas has got my eldest lad the 3rd away strip, the white one with Norwood 30 on the back, signed by all the players. Father Christmas has absolutely pulled out of the bag this year.
What a legend!
He's going to be wearing that while we're supporting the team. Yeah,
brilliant.
Nice.
Will, are you going to be down south for that Boxing Day?
Yes, I'm down south for Christmas. I'm going to watch Fisher against Cambridge City. It's not far from me, Fisher, so we're going to pop up there on Boxing Day, and then by the time, you know, when it's over, we'll be well in time for the game, to watch the game back here. in Peckham.
I mean, I'm really, really looking forward to it as an occasion now. I think it's going to be massive. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good. There's going to be a really good crowd in there. It's going to be a proper game.
It's as big a game as that time when we met Scunthorpe at Glanford Park.
Gary
McDonald got the equaliser. It's that big a game. It's the two teams who are probably the best in the league.
It's definitely the biggest game we've had since we've been in the National League.
Oh yeah.
So in the last 3 seasons, this is the biggest game. By now that I'm obsessed with us getting these 5 green ticks on the and on the National League table, and when you Google it, and we've got 4 out of 5. We've got a draw on there as well. So to go fully green, we'll have to beat York, and they've won 3 in their last 5. So they've lost 1, they've drawn 1. I was talking to a lad I featured on the Yachts from York City podcast the other day, and he was saying that they're not very good away from home, which is potentially encouraging.
Because imagine this, we are actually good at home.
Yeah. So it's not this typical Latics thing. Oh, well, they're not very good at home, but they come to Boundary Park and get a win kind of thing. It's it's going to be tough though, for sure.
I'll tell you what's interesting. If you look at the top 5, if you think the top 5 have pulled away a little bit, there's a bit of a gap between us and Dale, isn't there now? So if you look at the top 5 and you think about the games head to head, those 5 playing each other, and we've done, we've drawn against Gateshead, we beat Forest Green, we've drawn against Barnet so far. So none of that top 5 have managed to beat us. And we've got, out of that top 5, we've got to play York twice, Gateshead, Barnet, and Forest Green. If you include Dale in it, we've got to play Dale twice yet, so they're just behind us. So we've got 7 games against the top 6. York have also got 7 games because they've got to play us twice and Gateshead twice, whereas Barnet and Forest Green have only got 5 left against the top 6.
Right.
So those head-to-heads for us are going to be really, really important, I think, because we got more of them. If you're going to be taking points off Braintree and Wealdstone and Ebbsfleet, like everyone turns them over. You're looking at those games and think they're going to be really important. So we've got to try and beat York at home. We've got to try and beat Dale at home. We've got to make sure that we pick some points up against the other teams as well. We've got Forest Green away, Barnet at home, Gateshead away. So we've got quite a few away games. So those head-to-heads are going to be important, I think. And looking out for the others as well. I definitely fancy us to. We've got to talk about Stones in a minute. Did we want to do the Mickey Mellon interview, Matt?
Does a professional performance like that sum up everything that Oldham has become this season?
Yeah, up to now we've got to keep going. But I thought it was a very, very good, solid professional performance from minute 1 to the end. I thoroughly deserved victory and a really professional victory, which you need to be able to do when you come to tough places like this. So, full credit to the boys.
You said tough places like this, with the conditions like they are, Braintree battling for their lives, obviously the pitch like this, it requires some character and some.
It does. Like I say all the time, you've got to be able to answer the questions that the game are giving you. That's the big thing. There's no secret to that. You have to be good and better than the opposition in what the conditions are and what the environment is and all the rest of it. And we were today. We were full value for victory and probably could have had a couple of more goals if we were really being picky. But it's a really professional performance and we're really pleased.
And to show that level of control, obviously, throughout the game, is that a reflection of where this team's at the moment and the confidence we've got?
Well, you'd have to say that up till now, and that's why I'm guarded to say that, we've still got a lot of work to do. Up till now, that we're developing into that type of team that's capable of that type of performance. So we have to keep our foot down and make sure we keep the standards high and keep demanding performances like that.
Josh Stones and James Noah are both on target. How pleased are you with the partnership that they've rekindled during this?
Very good. I mean, very, very good. We're really pleased with the both of them. But overall, right through the team, they'd be the first to say I expect that to a man. You were really pleased with his performance.
It's an excellent team performance, as we've said, but when you look at the showing, obviously Sam Clucas has come back into the side over the last couple of weeks after recovering from his injury. How influential has he become in this side?
Yeah, massively important. I mean, him and Tom Cornell's partnership is sublime at times. They're such cultured footballers, so it's really good to see them. And then Josh Lundstrom linking up really well as well, and both wing backs getting involved. The back three, young Wills come into the middle of that back three and done terrifically well as well. We're hopeful that we'll get a few back and off for Boxing Day, so all good.
I was going to mention, Will, he was up against Johnny Kindy this afternoon, obviously. A big unit, but he's dealt with it admirably, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, coming up against the type of challenges is what you need to try and make yourself better, because you come away from it, you'll say, well, what did I do well and what would I done differently, and all the kind of questions that you can ask yourself. And that's what Will's doing. He's developing as a centre-back, and he'll be better for that challenge today.
And just finally, Boxing Day against York, obviously, it's a game that a lot of people are looking forward to, and this win sets that up nicely, doesn't it?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. I'm not wishing my days away, because we've got family time, but we will keep our focus. We are excited about the game. That's games that we want to absolutely be involved in. It should be a cracker. But one thing again I have to say is that the supporters today, fantastic. In the rain as well, I felt sorry for them, because the rain was blowing pretty much into their faces for pretty much all of that first half, but they didn't stop. Then they got right behind us, and I'm pleased that they're going to go up the road tonight with a victory. I just hope that they're not too wet. We certainly are, but they were terrific. And no, thank you for the support again. We don't take you for granted, and we look forward to seeing you all in Boxing Day, and it should be a cracker. So, let's get it on.
Well done today.
Thank you all.
Yeah, Mickey Mellon. What a
He's clever,
guy!
isn't he?
He knows
He's clever, isn't he?
he knows what he's doing. He knows what to
Absolutely,
say, doesn't
yeah.
he? You know, absolutely brilliant.
No, he's exactly what we need. Like, really quite grim, not impressed by much if it's not hard work. Hard work and more of that. And, his management, you mentioned Will Sutton earlier. His management of Sutton has been absolutely top class. He's bringing him in to tough games, and, he's coming into a winning team. And he's becoming a real proper player, and I think he'll be with us for years to come.
I hope so, because like I said earlier, I was a bit worried he wouldn't have been. But yeah, no, I think he's cute, Mellon. He's done brilliantly with Norwood, and he keeps playing to the fans. He's got his audience. He's clever. I like him. Yeah, it's definitely really, really warm to him. I mean, the other thing to talk about there is Josh Stones. So his loan's up in January. He's been linked with. Yeah, so there's links with other clubs again. League Two clubs apparently interested, other National League clubs interested. I don't think he'll go to another National League club. He'll probably go to a league club if Wigan are going to sell him or if they're going to recall him. But Maloney just keeps messing about, doesn't he? Every time you see Maloney at Wigan talk about him, he's kind of giving mixed messages all the time. If I was a Wigan fan, I wouldn't be overly happy with Maloney.
They're like, I've got to be careful what I say here, because I do have a sort of semi-official role in Oldham. I think he's playing fast and loose, isn't he? Like they want to extract as much money as they can from us for Stones. They know how much we would like to have Stones over and above anybody else. We want Stones way more than anybody else wants them. And Maloney is just going out there doing Wigan's bit. It's happened in football since the year football. They don't want Stones.
Well, they're not going to play. They're not going to play him. They're not going to play him, right? So if they take him back, he's going to sit on the bench. He knows that. He doesn't want to go back. And that kind of sort of brings us on. I don't know whether Matt's got it queued, But there's a little tiny clip from a Wealdstone post-match interview yesterday from their manager Matt Taylor.
Look, unfortunately, we're going to lose Alex Reid. Oldham have decided to call him back, which of course is their right. So we've got to try and solve that problem. But
so, you know, we're going to be in a position here where he says we've called Alex Reid back. Whether technically is calling him back or just not extending the loan is kind of up for debate. Doesn't really matter, I guess. But that might indicate that we are anticipating Stones is going back to Wigan, and I'm relatively confident that we haven't got lots of cash left for the reasons I've described before. Based on the budget, I think we're overspent already. So I don't think we can throw lots of money at it. The Rothwells have thrown enough at it already. So I think it might be a little bit interesting over the next few weeks that Alex Reid is in form, right? So he scored something like 8 goals for Wealdstone in however many games he's been there. Not many.
It's more than that. I think it's 12 now. Is
it? Right. So he scored a lot of goals for them. So we may end up in a position whereby Stones goes and Reid comes back in, which might work. I'm not saying it won't, but it's going to be interesting to see how the next few weeks pans out. We've been linked with Cole Stockton. We were linked with him before because he played for Mellon at Tranmere. But Cole Stockton is playing almost every week for Salford and scoring for Salford. So I can't see Salford wanting to release him at the minute, and that would probably come with money required anyway. So I'm not sure how much merit there is in that. So whether we've got anyone else lined up, but the thing that leaves me slightly cold or nervous is, let's say Stones goes back, we haven't got a replacement lined up. Alex Reid comes in, can't quite do the same as he's done at Wealdstone because he's not the main man. We lose Clucas. You've just got into a position where we look like we're a bit of a machine, and then the wheels come off a little bit. That's my only concern, really.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I really want Stones to sign for us. It just makes so much sense for him, for us, for everybody. But I don't know how we're going to do it, like financially, like you say, like the money isn't necessarily there unless Wealdstone can stump up more for Alex Reid, or maybe it'll be straightforwardly like that.
I don't see that Wealdstone have got they're still one of 3 part-time teams in this league that they haven't got the money to do it, so they aren't going to be able to do it. I've seen people suggesting that Forest Green are interested in Alex Reid, so that we might recall him and sell him to Forest Green. Obviously, they're money bags with Dale Vince, their owner. I mean, the problem with that is you'd be selling a player to, I guess the beauty of Alex Reid scoring goals for Wealdstone is he's taking points off people around us. He's selling to Forest Green, he's helping them secure points that we don't need. So I guess
I think what we have to remember is that Alex Reid, I think if according to Matt Taylor, he's been recalled so that he can be at the club on Christmas Day, hasn't he? That's what it is. Think back to last Christmas Day and Alex Reid changing rooms. He's been brought back so that he has to, he trains with the club anyway, doesn't he? But so it's interesting. A year on, and he'll be back in the squad, and you get these funny kind of symmetries, and maybe he'll be on the bench against York. Maybe yeah, maybe he's on the bench against York because Mellon wants all the firepower available.
McGahey left this time, will he, though?
No, thankfully not. No, he's been enjoying his exploits in European football, hasn't he? But I mean, really well. Yeah. So if the lad's on bang on form and he's our player, and he's done his Mellon has handled. You've already mentioned how well he's handled players, and maybe Reid comes back and fires a load of goals in for us before the end of the season. Who knows? So we'll leave it to Mellon because he knows what he's doing. And if he wants Reid back in the squad, I think with Stones, I think for me, I'm trying to look at it not from the point of view of what's best for Latics and what's best for Wigan. look, what's best for Josh Stones is that he plays for Latics till the end of the season. He's got himself back up to fitness, back up to speed, and he needs games. He's a young lad. He needs to be playing football, and if he's not, there's no point in going back to Wigan to just sit on the bench and not be involved. If the manager already knows that that's going to be the case. Now, if they get desperate and they have injuries or something and they need to call him back, but call him back absolutely flying, full of fitness, full of goals. That's what they want to do with him. So I can't see why they would want to take him back just to let him sort of get behind where he's at now. He's flying. Let him stay at Latic, and then maybe hopefully fire us into League Two, and then we'll sign him on a permanent next season.
Alex Reid's loan runs until the 5th of January, I believe, at Wealdstone. I guess we could call him back before that, but my expectation is that he won't be back at the club until the new year. But it just feels like that, those two little bits of news, club them together. It looks like we're not anticipating keeping Stones beyond the Hartlepool game. I'd say just
stuff along the lines of, we've got Alex Reid. He's scored 10 in 12 in 12 in 12.
Well,
so we don't really want Josh Stones. We're happy to have done the lad a favour, but I don't know.
Yeah, you've got to play some games. Just out of interest, when I was looking at the form table earlier, what's interesting is Hartlepool's form. Hartlepool over the last 4 are 3rd, last 6 4th, last 8 6. So Hartlepool have hit a bit of form recently. So New Year's Day, but their place is not going to be easy. Yeah. It's interesting to see that they've just started to turn a corner under Lenny Lawrence. So that's not going to be easy. So the next 2 games are really, really, really difficult. If we come through those 2 games with 4 to 6 points, I think you'd be mightily, mightily impressed. We'd be in a good position. So hopefully that'll be the case. I saw someone else on social media. People were Tom Conlon picked up his 5th booking at the weekend, and people were worried that he might be suspended for the York game. I've had a little check between myself and Paul Whitehead going back and forth on Twitter this afternoon. And actually, they changed the rules over the summer to align them with the EFL rules, which means that the 5 bookings only comes after 19 games, and we've played 21. So he's not suspended. And actually, Regan Oldwell picked up his 5th yellow card last week against Wealdstone at home and wasn't suspended against Braintree. So everyone can relax. Everybody's available. We're all right against York.
Well, he should be suspended against York because he should have got a straight red yesterday.
We got away with that one, didn't we? We got away with that one. Yeah. Right. Well, you do realise, Will, that coming back on here means you have to do Latics Mind again, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, right, because Will's been on this season already, and because he's only coming on because of Matt's faux pas, Matt should feel the pain a little bit. So how about?
Go on.
How about?
I like the sound of this.
We do Latics Mind, but you answer as a pair, right? So anyone can answer.
Okay.
Right, and you team up as a double act. Yeah. How about we do that for a change?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
All right.
This is going to be really embarrassing when we still only get one between us. Will.
I'm just going to warm up and blurt out some names. Scott McNiven.
Okay, here we go.
35.
Latic scored 7 goals twice in League Cup ties versus Scarborough in 1989 and who else in 1991?
1991. 7.
One of you could say pass.
No, do not say pass. Just say a team name. Say a team name.
Cambridge.
Wrong. It was Torquay United.
Oh,
Who was in goal at Torquay United on the opening day in Latic's first ever National League game?
That would be. Would it be Magnus Norman?
Correct.
Yes.
Which Latics midfielder missed a chunk of the 1996-97 season because his dog bit a chunk out of him? This question was not made up by the Barrio and Info Bureau.
Oh, so it's not just Wheater-related dog questions. I have no idea. Will?
Hang on. No, I'm struggling as well.
I mean, you can pass, so other people can get to some more questions.
I don't know. David Beharrell.
No, it was Lee Richardson. In 1953-54, Latics were relegated after a brief return to the second tier, who were promoted out of the second tier that same season and have never been relegated out of the top flight since.
Everton.
Correct.
Hey.
Yes.
Who were Latic's kit manufacturers between 1996? I've started, so I'll finish. Who were Latic's kit manufacturers between 1996 and 2000?
I think it's Umbro, Matt.
I think it's Pony, isn't it?
Oh, hello. Yeah, I think you're right. Go with you.
Pony.
Pony. It's a load of old pony.
You're old pony. Correct. You got 3 answers right.
Yeah.
We're actually quite decent at this.
Yeah, but you are so slow.
Yeah, so slow.
You only answered 5 questions. There are people listening right now that are absolutely furious with the barrier for not passing.
It was your idea.
Passing is insane. Nobody can ever pass.
That's a brilliant success rate. That 3 out of 5, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's really good. That's, hang on a minute. That's 60%. We must be in the running for a shot at the final here.
Sure. Well, that's it. We should start doing it by percentages now, and we'll be right up there.
Yeah.
Right. Brilliant.
Percentages will split the men from the boys, quiz-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well done to us. Congratulations to us. Thanks for stepping in, Will.
You're welcome.
Sorry again to Bin Man for not being there this morning. Sorry to Andy for making him worry about me this morning as well. I was
worried. Yeah. I was worried.
Is it him who called the ambulance?
Yeah. Yeah, a bit of adrenaline and I'm fine. Apologies. And thankfully we've managed to get the pod done. That's the main thing. So I appreciate that, Andy. Thanks very much, mate. And so it's time to wish you both and all our listeners a very Merry Christmas. Hope you all enjoy a lovely couple of days, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, all that stuff. But I mean, can we not just skip to the important bit, the main bit? Boxing Day.
Mickey Mellon said he's not wishing away the days, but I think some people are wishing away the days. Like,
that's it. I mean, really could be one to remember, couldn't it? If we've got the whole Boxing Day, we've got the whole day to be able to watch the games in the pub and all that kind of build up to 5:30 kickoff, the anticipation. It's going to be really something quite special. So let's get down there. If you've not decided whether you're going yet, and you've got the option to be able to get one of those flexi tickets or a half-season ticket, get yourself down.
Or just a ticket for that match, because you will not be disappointed.
Exactly, just on that one off. Right, well, I'm going to go because I've got literally just as we started this, the food arrived, so it's been sitting downstairs for the best part of an hour. I'm not eating anything all day, so I'm looking forward to that. So. Thanks once again, gentlemen. Merry Christmas, everybody, and we'll see you sometime in the next week or two, I should imagine. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage?
Ooh.
What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham I'll just have a Nescaf.
Oh, thank you, listeners.